I'm the production director for the Hutchinson News. I started here in March 23rd, 1968. That was the weekend after my 14th birthday. So I started out hand stuffing inserts in the mailroom, or what they call the packaging department now. Went full-time when I graduated high school in 1972, and I've been here ever since. 50 years, 2 months, and 16 days, I think it is. So, there's old guys in the press room. Remember Austin Weeby?
Austin Weeby. Is that Delaney?
Delaney. Is that Ernie?
Looked kind of like him. He had a little hair then, too.
Yeah. This was 57. Were you here then?
No, no.
No. But remember when we printed this in 1972? It was
Yep.
Yeah, it was 80-some pages. But see, like when this, you know this, Bobbie, you know, like there's color on this. Didn't you have to hand cut this color individually?
What year was that?
July 72, just before we switched over to the new press.
You make another plate, you know, and the plates where you had your color, we'd leave blank. And then you put it back in and make another impression, then you have that, then you have your two plates to make your color.
And that would have been on the hot lead plate, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, now see, this is one of the pictures I saved.
That's what we call the zinc.
It came from your area because somebody made an ashtray out of it.
Yes, see, these were the pictures. All right, we had what we call base, type high base, and we'd block out for it and get a zinc from the, I guess Jim Morrison. Who was the old guy who was in there? McCulley. He made a lot of the zincs. So that's how we get a lot of pictures. Tape this zinc down to the lead, and then we make an impression off of it, and then we make our plate.
Now you put this on the lead before you did the paper mache thing.
Yeah.
And then that picture would be in the paper mache, and then it would produce. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's open this up to see what it looks like when you open up a newspaper in the old days.
How wide that is.
It was 34-inch web. But basically,
Golly.
That's how wide the paper was.
You just forget about how wide it used to be, you know.
I found that in an old file cabinet one time. I was cleaning out some stuff in the building, and I said, I ain't letting that get away.
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah, that shows the difference. Isn't that amazing? It did okay until he had that. Dick was the one that promoted me the very first time.
It is? Oh.
Yeah. I seen him walking down Main Street a lot.
Okay, here you go, Greg. See?
All right.
This, where your pictures went. You just glued
this taped right on there.
This is what they call type high base. See? The time you put this on, then this is the same height as that. So it'll be the increase. But then where you had a picture, that's what we either had a plastic or a zinc, and we put them right here in these.
And some of them came plastic?
Yeah, sometimes.
And these were mailed to you, or did they make them here?
They made them in the back room.
So they etched this out somehow in a machine? Yeah. Did it just like chemically etch it, or was it a...
It was because old McCulley, he even had some of that stuff on his shoe where it ate it through his shoes.
Oh, wow.
And that, but anyhow, that's where your pictures went, and we just taped them right on there.
See, and I didn't know if this actually hooked to this one that was on the press.
No, see, there's where your picture goes.
Yeah.
Now, see?
Now, this one don't have the picture.
No. So they probably put the plastics on the press back there, because they'd just tape them on there.
And they could tape this on here and run it through the press with those just taped on there. Okay. This is the last page, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. What's it say?
What did they call this thing? This was the saddle, wasn't it? Or was this the saddle? This was the saddle.
That's the saddle, yeah. And that's your...
So...
See, they had to trim all the edges down on there.
Yeah, and they had a plane. They had a plane that, you know, went like this to clean off the edges. You know, I remember seeing them do that.
So each one was new. I mean, a new pour.
Yes, every single one of them was a new pour.
Each page.
Yeah.
Then you just melted that down and you could use the lead again. That's the nice thing about the old days, you know, you recycle a lot better than nowadays.
They probably breathed in a lot of lead.
Yeah, we did. And this is supposed to have a what they call a pig hanging up here.
Which is a little miniature lead bar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it weighs about 25 pounds.
And it just
And it's
melts
got a float
as it
in
went
there. And as the level go down, it automatically feed the lead pig down into the pot.
And this was hooked up to, this one was probably hooked up to gas,
Yeah.
so it had a
Yeah.
flame underneath it,
Yeah.
melting that lead all the time.
Oh, right there's one of the gas lines right
Yeah.
there.
So it's probably pretty hot to work around then, wasn't it?
Well, it was warm. In fact, we have, you remember old Bean, our mute who couldn't talk?
Yeah.
He was bald headed. One day his machine didn't lock up right and that lead shot up out of that and come down top of his bald head. And boy, you could hear him hollering in.
And he couldn't speak.
But he could sure cuss.
He couldn't speak, but he knew cuss words.
Yeah. Because see that lead from 25 to 600 degrees and you know, it just stuck to you just like.
Where was it located? Where were all these guys located?
In the composing room, we had 5 machines. See, this is number 5. We had 5 this way and 2 this way. We had 4 linotypes and 3 what they call inner types that set bigger type for the ads, you know.
If you look at the keyboard is nothing like a normal keyboard.
No, it's not like a typewriter.
Yeah, it's completely opposite.
And you don't hit your keys hard like with the old typewriter. You had to kind of have a feather 'em. If you didn't, you'd get too many mats that drop out. Then you get like 3 L's instead of 1 or something. So you just had to feather it real.
So as he's typing on this, those little,
Mats.
are they, is that what they're
Yeah,
called?
brass mats. Mm-hmm.
And each of them little brass mats had a letter, and it had the capital and the lowercase on the same one, didn't it?
No.
You had to get separate ones?
No, what you're thinking of, it had the bold face and the light face.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So say you want to set a whole line bold face.
Here's one laying right there.
Yeah. Now see right here, there's your bold face type, and there's your light face.
So you could almost make it go into a different position to get the,
If you want to make one word like bold face, you'd take and flip this up like that, and this when your line come over and went down, that it pushed just those up just enough to make the black, and then you had to make sure you took this off, because not you get a double black, and that'd make your machine squirt.
now this is plumb full of those little
Brass mats.
brass plates, and each one of these is a different letter.
Mm-hmm.
So all the letters are in here.
Right there, you can just see all the letters here on the keyboard.
Yeah. So when you type this, they'd come down where they drop into here.
No, that's your accessories. They drop right into here, Greg, and drop
drop
down
into
and the
in
symbol
order.
right down there. Yeah.
They drop in order here, and you'd get.
You get a line, whatever length line you're setting, and then you bring this up, and the elevator go over and come down, and cast the line. And then this would come back up, and this elevator would come pick up the mats, take them back up there,
Drop
get
them
on
all
the
back
distributor
in.
bar, and then put them right back where they belong.
But when he says like it came over here, it cast it. The hot lead would get on there and cast them.
This mole, if we had a mole in here, when this would go down, the line would be here, and then mold, and that'd shoot that lead in there. Dang, you don't have a lead line either, do you?
No.
Oh, right here. Yes. See, it just shoot that right in
there
there.
is one line.
Yeah. Then make your characters.
And that's all you'd get out of that is that one little line. One little line.
And a good operator could set maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 lines. Then we had the what they call the Blue Streak Comet for just straight matter, and it was a modified linotype with the magazines tilted. And I think we could get 8 or 10 lines because it was faster. It had a teletype setter on it, and we just run the tape and it'd feed it automatically.
Oh, wow.
And all I had to do is dump the
Modern
galley
technology,
type.
see?
Yeah.
So then you took those, and these are all loose in here, right? I mean, or is this all? See, are those individual ones? Those are a block.
Yeah, they're side by side. They're just molded right into the lead. Yeah.
There's just individual ones here. So
just these individual characters.
So each one of those you made, there's probably about 20 of those. What you're talking about right here.
At least or more.
Yeah. Just in this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing we keep it, tightened up so they stay in there.
Right.
But each one of those.
How long a day, how long per page?
How long would it take to make that page?
To make it up, a good page maker keep, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. If he had all his
All
type.
his whole page?
Yeah, if he had his type already. I'm talking about the guy that built the page. I'm
Okay.
not talking about the operator.
What about
you
the
know.
guys that make the type?
Well,
like
you'd
this?
set a gallet, you used to have a stick here. You'd set a gallet type, which was probably about that long. It'd probably take, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
To make
Good.
all the type
Yeah.
for this. Wow.
Now, see, these are all set individual. This was set on the Ludlow. It had its own stick and bigger characters, you know.
Uh-huh.
And it worked on the same uniform as these, Greg, but there was the big letters.
So each one of these letters is separate.
Yeah. You build it in a stick just like you built type, and then you cast it, and it casted similar to this, and then that's how we got our headlines.
And the Hutch News one looks like it's all one piece.
Yeah, for
I see.
your individual stories, you know. But when you went to the bigger type, you had to go to the Ludlow to get your big type.
Now,
of
when
that.
they had this, when they put the mat on there to make the mat impression, was that a machine? I can't remember that.
It was a big roller. It rolled it,
Just
mashed that thing right
Mash
down
it
into
down
there.
into here. And then they took that and put it into a curved thing like this and poured the hot lead in to make these, right?
Yeah.
And then, like you say, they cleaned off the edges with a,
Yeah, and after it
Looked
got
like a
poured,
dang-
yeah, they'd take it and clean it up and
Yeah.
haul and put it on the press.
yeah. That was a long time ago. It's
Oh, I know.
1972 when we
Yeah.
gave it up. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's amazing you can still remember all that stuff.
Well, some things you just don't forget, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could still run my line type at home or not. I'd have to think about the keyboard, you know.
My brother was working here for 2 years and they needed another body. So, you know, they only had 5 hand stuffers. So when they needed another body, my brother said, "You want a job?" And I said, I had to wait till I turned 14. That was the rule then. So at 14, the weekend after I turned 14, I came down. And I remember the words my brother said. He's gone now. But he said, "You better work hard or I'll beat you up when we get home." So I've been working hard ever since.
That's right, yeah.
You know, but enjoyed.
That's good.
I was already full-time before they put in the new press. So the old press was twice this wide. It was a double wide. So in other words, it printed papers on both sides and they collected it together somehow. I don't know. It's too much for me to understand. But it was an old hoe press. So, but the rolls of newsprint, so they would have been 68 inches wide. A roll of newsprint. Scott and I were just talking about this earlier, but see, there used to be little railroad tracks down here, and you can see where they filled in the cement, but there's a little railroad track that went everywhere, and even the bridges across had little railroad tracks in them. But see, these reel stands came with the first press, and we bought the first press used in 1957, so I don't know how old it was, but they say there's some Model T parts on this thing somewhere, and I don't know if it's in the cylinders here or something.
But you see how wide this rear stand is? It's because these are 22 inches wide, and the ones that were on there were 68. So, you know, that's why they're so wide. And we only use this much of it now. So, well, there's an elevator over there that's always been here. They brings the paper down, and you roll it in here and then pick them up. You have to slow down to
Change rolls.
Yeah, and then we ought to get one to. Are they going to print anything else?
No.
Okay. But they slow it down, and then you can see that, like over here, if you can get on this side, there's tape on here. They've got it ready. There's double stick tape underneath here. So when they're ready for this roll to go on or whatever, it's actually this roll in it, Scott.
Yep.
They'll take the tape cover off so it's sticky, and then when that roll's almost to run out, they'll push the buttons and turn this roll here into that sheet, and when it catches that sheet, it sticks to it. And then you see the guy reach down there with his foot and he kicks out the old sheet, so it only takes up one sheet. But yeah, this is all the old stuff. This room used to come right here. This was it. This was the room. So it was a lot smaller than it is now. But HE used to cover this area and had their offices back there.
Tell them what HE is.
It was Harris Enterprises, the main, the business part of the business. And then when we added the GMA inserting machine, it's a long machine, so we had to break. This used to be the garage, so we made the garage into the part of the room and then added on another garage. But this machine here, this Mueller inserting machine, this one we got in 1977, but the original 1975 one looked just like it. In fact, this is the 1975 one. We got rid of the other one. So we added some hoppers to it over the years. And now we've added a inkjet labeler on the end so that you can label with inkjet. But yeah, that's been around for a long time. So up to that point, everything was by hand. This one, 1995. So it can do 12 inserts into one. It's all computerized. So if it puts in a double insert, most of the time it knows it put in a double, and it goes down here and drops it into a basket. It doesn't go out. If it misses an insert, it knows which paper didn't get that insert. It comes down here, the grapper doesn't pick it up and take it out. It goes back around the machine, comes back, skips everything it already got, and then puts the insert in. So it's pretty nice compared to the old days. So, yeah.
That was pretty good technology back then. It's like $500,000.
It was about 800,000, I think. And that was the first one in the state of Kansas. I helped put that machine together. We print 45 other newspapers. So about most of the center of Kansas, we print about every newspaper out there. And Salina, which is our sister paper, prints everything north. So between the two of us, we're printing about 90 newspapers. I get gets emotional when I look around, because I remember things like just the paint on the wall. I remember Roger Enns. Remember old Roger Enns? Him and I painted those walls together, and he's gone now. Most of the pressmen are gone that we worked with, you know?
This is your 50th year, right?
I know. I planted one of those trees out there. I forget which, it was one of the further ones down. I planted all the trees over here, all the trees in the parking lot. Hand dug them, planted myself. We trimmed the trees last year, and I saved a branch off one of them. I said, I planted this tree, and I made a walking stick out of it. So now I'm old, I'm using the limb for a walking stick. So, but yeah. So, yep.
And now you have your son.
That's right.
Now,
My son
come over here.
will now take over. You know, you think about it, my brother worked here for 2 years, and then he had an accident and broke his neck, so he couldn't work anymore. And then I've worked here 50 years, and Scott's worked here
24.
24 years.
Yep.
My wife actually, instead of paying for a babysitter when we were young and poor, she threw a motor route for 15 years. We figured she threw over 3 million papers. And my youngest son worked for the bee for a while, and so he counted and tied up bundles for the bee back here for a few years. So it's been a kind of a family deal, you know.
Every morning I come to work, people come by my office all the time to say hi, and Sandra, just you and me, we've worked together all these years, and it's going to be hard when people aren't in your life anymore. I'm retiring this Friday. We got less than 5 days left, and it'll be very hard to leave.
So what are you going to miss most about not being here? That was a tough question.
Give me a sec.
Okay.
The people. Miss the people. I like working with everybody. I enjoy going to work. I enjoy going to work today. I mean, if I wasn't old and need to retire, I'd probably work forever because I enjoy work. There's nothing I don't like about the business. I'm ready. Maybe. I told my guys for 9 years I was going to retire. Every year I told them I'm retiring next year. So I was going to retire early, but no one ever believed me, so I quit saying it. So, but now I don't have a choice. I'm retiring Friday. I think. Maybe.